The Walking Dead series finale, theories, thoughts, and predictions. Before I do that, though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am and rewatching or watching The Walking Dead, which is up until tomorrow's series finale of The Walking Dead, then I highly suggest that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. Before I tell you what I think is going to happen in the series finale of The Walking Dead, I just want to share my brief history watching The Walking Dead. I'd heard a lot about The Walking Dead on Facebook. People would post stuff, people would share stuff. I wouldn't read the articles that they would share, but I would see them constantly in my newsfeed. So I finally started watching The Walking Dead during season 2. The first episode I watched was Cherokee Rose. It was a live episode. I didn't go back and start from the beginning. And that's the episode where Glenn gets lowered down into the well with the bloated well walker. And while the episode itself isn't really anything that special, I never turned back. I never stopped watching. No other show at that point in time even came close to The Walking Dead. There were other shows that I would watch a season or two of and then stop watching because I just kind of lost interest. The only show that even comes close to The Walking Dead at that point in time would be Lost. And I didn't start watching Lost until season 5. I had help from my roommate to kind of know what's going on with Lost, but starting on season 5 and having to watch season 6 and then going back, Walking Dead reigns supreme. Now, other shows have kind of got to that point, but Walking Dead is still numero uno for me. Breaking Bad and Dexter are definitely shows that I absolutely love, and maybe even Game of Thrones and Lost that I love. Not necessarily as much as The Walking Dead, but they're in that group of shows that I watch consistently over and over again. And my favorite character in watching the episodes starting in, early on in season 2 was Dale. I really like Dale and his Dale face. If you haven't checked out The Walking Dead Honest Trailer, the first one, they talk about Shane rubbing his head a lot and Dale and his Dale face and ugly cry face. It's fucking hilarious. Check that out. Now, I wasn't necessarily hooked when I initially watched The Walking Dead, but then I saw the mid-season finale of season 2, which was called Pretty Much Dead Already. That's the episode where Sophia comes out at the end of the episode and she's a walker. And that episode was crazy. Now, I hadn't watched that much of the show yet, so it didn't fully resonate with me, but I'm like, wow, this shit's fucking crazy. So then I watched the second half of season 2, and then I saw the season finale. Beside the Dying Fire, I think that's a crazy episode. That's definitely a top 15 episode, if not top 10 for me. I can't remember exactly where it places, but it's definitely one of my favorite episodes of all time of The Walking Dead. That's the episode I'm like, wow, this is fucking awesome. This show keeps going, and it's cool following these characters, even though they kill a lot of people off randomly. Of course, I saw season 3, Killer Within, and I'm like, this show's fucking amazing, because that episode was phenomenal. So, after season 2 was over with, obviously I had the chance to go back and finally watch season 1, the pilot, Days Gone By. I liked Morgan a lot, and I was surprised to see that Morgan actually survived, because we didn't see him at all in season 2, so watching that episode, I'm like, okay, Morgan and his son definitely die, and they didn't. And then, of course, Morgan finally returns to The Walking Dead in season 3 for a brief appearance in Clear, and then finally in season 5 he becomes a regular for a few seasons until he goes to Fear the Walking Dead, otherwise known as Morgan and Friends, and kind of ruins the character to a degree. Hopefully they fix that. But yeah, I was definitely a big fan, especially after catching up with season 1. So I wasn't big into YouTube at all. The only time I would go on YouTube is to search for wrestler returns and watch reactions of wrestlers returning or just those returns itself. That's the only thing I would really watch on YouTube. But after season 2 of The Walking Dead, and obviously I watched season 1, I wanted to find out, where's Morgan? Is Morgan coming back to The Walking Dead? So that's when I started utilizing YouTube. I didn't do videos of my own at the moment, but I was going on YouTube channels. Channels that I really liked, that I would watch stuff all the time on The Walking Dead initially, was easily Trev's Chan 2. That was the first thing I searched. The first thing that came up when I said is, when is Morgan returning to The Walking Dead? His channel came up, and I think Trev is a pretty awesome YouTuber. He's been around for a long time. He's been covering The Walking Dead before the TV show came out. So that was the first YouTube channel that I really liked and subscribed to. And actually, that was the only channel I was subscribed to for like a year. I don't know. I didn't subscribe to anything for like a year except for his channel. And then obviously later on, I watched a lot of Movie Idol, and I still watch Movie Idol. Forrest at Movie Idol, he's got a lot of great Walking Dead content, and it's content a couple videos a day sometimes. So I like him. And then I would watch random reaction channels of The Walking Dead. Seska Says. She does a phenomenal job with her reactions to Walking Dead and other shows. Nocturnal Nation, Blind Wave, Busy Brawn, The Normies, Nikki and Steven, Movie Fusion, and occasionally I would watch reactions from Akasan at Comics Plus, and sometimes Katie O'Shaughnessy. I'm sure you're familiar with her channel. I don't watch her as much, but I'll randomly catch up on like 5 videos at a time from her. But those are the channels that I look to find out what those YouTubers think of The Walking Dead. You know, I already know what I think, but I want other people's opinion on The Walking Dead. So, what's going to happen in the series finale of The Walking Dead? Well, first I should let you know there are some spoilers that came out yesterday. I don't know for sure if they're 100% true. It seems like it could be. I already had my opinions and everything ready to go yesterday. I did not record yesterday, so nothing in this video is influenced by any of the spoilers that I heard. They're not full spoilers. They give some details, but they're not very detailed in terms of like the whole episode breaking down. They just have some bullet points of the episode. So again, what I'm going to talk about was strictly done before I heard any spoilers. And I'm not going to say what I heard because I don't want to spoil anything for you. If you want to find out what potentially could be out there as spoilers, search for it on YouTube. You'll be able to find it. So as far as what's going to happen, I feel that the Commonwealth will be taken over eventually by the folks of our joint communities, Alexandria, Hilltop, and Kingdom. Maybe not all the people, but most of those people will eventually take over the Hilltop. Or I should say they'll take over, but we'll be in charge of the Commonwealth, not the Hilltop, at some point. I'm pretty sure about that. I think that it's pretty clear. Well, I guess it's not pretty clear that Judith will eventually tell Rick. Okay, Judith will eventually tell Daryl in the finale that Michonne is looking for Rick, as she found proof that he's alive or something to that degree. Daryl at least has to be told that Rick's potentially alive. I would be shocked if they don't do that. Or maybe it's going to be something where you hear Rick's voice on the radio or a walkie-talkie, and more on that later. And then another thing I think is most likely to happen, and again, these were all stuff that I formed yesterday. I wrote this down yesterday. The spoilers that I heard, I don't know for sure if they're true. This is all stuff that I, thought in my head. Some of this stuff does happen in the comic book, but they don't always follow the comic book. So I'm guessing that Pamela Milton will end up in some sort of jail. I don't know for how long, but I don't think they'll kill Pamela Milton off, but I do think that Pamela will be put in jail or prison or whatever. And then, of course, speaking of people that might be killed, death predictions for the series finale of The Walking Dead. Well, they haven't really killed anybody off from our, the characters that we've been following for a long time. They've just been killing random comic book people off like Lance Hornsby and Sebastian. So there's going to be some character deaths in this episode, I think. And again, anything that I heard in these minor spoilers, which may or may not be true, did not influence my decision at all. I already had all this stuff wrote up. I think the writing's on the wall that Rosita's going to die. I mean, come on. I would be shocked at this point if Rosita did not die in the finale. I think it's there. I don't think Gabriel's going to die. I think Rosita is going to be our big character death in the series finale of Walking Dead. And I'll be on record to say, while I think Rosita is one of the most underutilized characters on The Walking Dead, I don't want her to die. Because I like her, but she hasn't been featured enough for me to love her. But I do like Rosita as a character. But I think, unfortunately, she will die in the finale tomorrow night. I also think that Annie is going to die. And I'm surprised they didn't do it already when she was put next to Negan and the warden guy was going to have all those Commonwealth soldiers fire on them. I think that was the point you should have killed Annie off. But I do think she's going to die in the finale. I could be wrong, but I just think it makes too much sense. We didn't get any backstory on Annie. She just kind of got shown to us, and boom, her and Negan are married, and boom, she's pregnant with Negan's kid. It makes too much sense for them to just offer that way, because we're not super invested in her. And I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think she's going to die. I also think Diana's going to die. We don't see Diane a lot, but she's been featured a little bit here and there. Well, featured is not the right word. We've seen her a few times here and there throughout the season. It's not like we only saw her one time. She's a character that nobody's really going to care about. I don't think anybody really knows who Diane is. Well, I'm sure you know about her, but do you really care about her? Probably not, but I think she's a character that will die in the finale. And then the last person that I think will die, at least the 4 deaths that I put down, Elijah. Now, I'm starting to rethink this decision because I think a better time to kill Elijah was in the last episode, but they had a walker bite Lydia's forearm or wrist, but not Elijah. So maybe Elijah does somehow, some way make it out, but maybe they save his death for the finale. I just feel like his character really hasn't been utilized properly since the bonus episodes. Like he looked, actually it wasn't even the bonus episodes really, it was that the original season finale for season 10, A Certain Doom, where he's got the mask and the weapons and he looks cool as hell. I thought that was Morgan right away, and it turned out not to be Morgan. Ever since then, it doesn't feel like Elijah has really been utilized properly on the show. So I do think he's going to die, but who knows? I think killing him in the last episode would have made a lot more sense, but it is what it is. And then there's still some characters out there that I wonder what happened to them. And I'm not going to talk about the obvious characters. I'm going to talk about these minor background characters that if they show up at all, I wouldn't be surprised if they died. I always talk about Scott. If you don't know who Scott is, well, he was featured heavily in season 6, episode 3. That's the fake out Glenn death where he hurt his leg and they had to get him back to Alexandria. And then from there, he was kind of a background character. And then once DJ died, Savior DJ, who was in the Pike lineup, Scott kind of became Michonne's bodyguard. He was always with Michonne. Well, not always with Michonne, but it seemed like when she left to go places, he would be with her. He took her to the ocean side, and then obviously Michonne went from the ocean side to Virgil's place and whatever. So Scott, if he shows up, I think he's going to die. Now, we haven't seen Scott, I think, since season 10, episode 16, A Certain Doom. He followed Judith out of the place that they were at. I know, so that actor, Canara Green, is married to Sonequa Martin Green, who obviously played Sasha on The Walking Dead. And her parents, I don't remember if it was early this year or early last year, died. I can't remember how they died or what they died of, but maybe he's just going through that and he doesn't have time to focus on The Walking Dead because of that. And that would make sense because we haven't even heard him mentioned. And if Scott has been in season 11, if I just haven't noticed him, then I apologize. But I don't think he's been on any cast list or anything like that for any episode. So that's why I still wonder about Scott, because I always predicted him to die. And then I'm like, well, God, he hasn't died yet. Maybe he won't die. So Scott is my first candidate. Cindy, she was the character that we were introduced first at the Oceanside. Her and her grandma, I believe it was. I don't know what happened to Cindy. I don't think we've seen Cindy since early season 10. We probably won't see Cindy again. There were rumors, I think, that Cindy was going to make another appearance on the show, but that was like a year ago, so I don't know if that's going to be the case. But if we do see her, maybe she won't die, because I don't think the people at the Oceanside were killed. We were led to believe they were killed, but what from Luke and Jules said, I just think the Commonwealth took over the Oceanside, and Lance didn't really kill anybody, even though it looked like that's what was going to happen in that cliffhanger that we got. So if we see Cindy, I don't know if she's going to die, but I want some fucking closure on her goddamn character. Same goes for Rachel. I don't believe we've seen Rachel since, I want to say, season 10, episode 16, A Certain Doom. We may have seen Rachel since then, and I just don't recall it. But I want closure on what happened to her character. I want to see Rachel again. She signed the charter, for crying out loud, so she's important in that aspect. Then there's Virgil. So we saw Virgil this season. He was featured heavily in season 11, episode 6. I don't remember the title of the episode. It's the episode with Connie where they're in that house. It kind of gave us a big people under the stairs vibe. And he may have been in the first break, season 10, episode 8. He may have been there, or was it that episode? I don't remember which one it was, but I think somebody said he was in the background in one of the episodes later on. But we don't have any closure on Virgil, so I want to know what happens to Virgil. I want to see him in the finale die, if possible. He was a bumbling idiot in season 10, so it would only make sense if they killed Virgil off, but who knows what's going to happen to him. And then I always mention Cal. Who's Cal, you might ask? So Cal was a random background character that would always be at the hilltop, and he would always stand guard at the entrance. He kind of reminds people of Glenn, so there are YouTubers that called him Discount Glenn. I don't believe we've seen Cal since season 9, episode 15 or 16. I don't believe he died. And there's another character that we didn't see for a while that randomly showed back up, and that was Marco. And then he died this season. So if Cal shows up, I want some closure on Cal, because, again, I don't think he was killing anything. So I just want to know what happened to all these background characters. And I'm sure there's some background characters that I'm missing, but those are the main ones that come to my mind. Now, who's going to show up in this finale? Like I said, lips are really dry. I should just drink some water, but I'm not going to. So, Morgan. I really want Morgan to show up in this finale, even if it's for 10 seconds, or if it has to be an end credits scene of some sorts. Now, Fear the Walking Dead or Morgan and Friends is way behind the Walking Dead timeline right now. So him coming on the Walking Dead doesn't necessarily mess up things that are going to happen on Fear the Walking Dead, because for the most part, we think that Morgan is safe on Morgan and Friends or Fear the Walking Dead. Although with Madison back, you never know. With Madison being back, it doesn't really make much sense, though. I mean, I know they can say what happened with, her getting rescued out of that fire, but really doesn't add up to me. But I want to see Morgan. He was in the pilot episode of The Walking Dead. He needs to be in the series finale. And it's not really like The Walking Dead is ending, though. We got plenty of spin-off shows to continue the story, but the main Walking Dead show is ending. So I definitely want to see Morgan again. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it would be awesome to see him in the show. So he's like I'd say we have a 20% chance to see Morgan at some point, whether it be in the regular episode or during the credits or something like that. Jadis. I really think we will see Jadis at some point during the episode, most likely in an end credits scene. It only makes sense. She was featured on The World Beyond, and I would be shocked if we don't get something of Jadis at some point during this episode. Michonne. I don't know for sure if we're going to see Michonne. We may hear Michonne, but I would not be shocked if we do see her. It'll most likely be in an end credits scene. That's why I want Morgan to show up actually during the episode, because I don't want everything to be in the end credits. But I think Michonne is a 50% chance. Jadis, I don't think I mentioned, or Anne, whatever you want to call her, I'd say she's a 75% chance to show up at some point. And then, of course, there's our main man, Rick Grimes. We know Rick Grimes and Michonne are returning next year around this time. I do think Rick will be in the end credits. I'm just going on a limb here saying the show might end in the end credits scene with him waking up in a hospital again. But it's like the CRM. I don't know anything for sure. It's just, an easy thing they could film and do. I would love to hear him talk, but I have a feeling he's going to wake up. So we started The Walking Dead with Rick waking up, and we're going to end the main Walking Dead show with Rick waking up. And actually, I'm going on a limb here. I'm going to say there's a 90% chance that we see Andrew Lincoln at some point during the episode. And I'm guessing it will most likely be in the end credits. But we know that Andrew Lincoln was in Atlanta at various times during filming, and they could have always filmed something after they were done filming. You know, a quick end credits scene could take a couple days to get completed, so it's very possible, but I do think we will see Rick Grimes at some point during the Walking Dead series finale. Now, tomorrow, Walking Dead series finale, 8 p.m. Central Time. Come back to this channel. I should have my review of the episode within, I would say, an hour-ish of the episode ending, barring any random technical issues. The editor that I use, and I don't do a lot of editing with my videos, but it's Video Editor through Photos, well, now Photos Legacy, and I'll have everything ready to go, and then I'll start, downloading it to the computer, and then it'll freeze. And this happens sometimes 3 or 4 times, and it's obviously time-consuming. Takes a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. So barring issues with that, and it only happens on my new desktop computer, so I should just upload it to my laptop, and my laptop will work just fine because it's the old Windows system. The Windows, was it Windows 10? And my desktop is Windows 11, I believe. So anyway, that's what I have for you. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead or like any of The Walking Dead shows and absolutely love The Walking Dead like I do, and it's your favorite TV show of all time, and if you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please smash that like button, share this video with anybody that you know, or put this video on your preferred social media platform. Sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on The Walking Dead series finale. Tell me when you started watching the episode or The Walking Dead. Tell me what was the first episode that you watched The Walking Dead. Let me know what your favorite character, anything you want to talk about. Tell me your favorite episode. I got plenty of videos on The Walking Dead. You can find them on the channel. Over here on the end screen here, I'll put some random Walking Dead videos. But please come back to check out my review of the finale and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Join the team. Show your damn support and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.